Ms. Akalonis, we're ready.
Yes.
Good evening. This is a public meeting of the Board of Education of Clark Public Schools. Adequate notice of this meeting has been given in accordance with PL 1975, Chapter 231, that a special notice was made in conformance with Section 13 of the Act.
Thank you. May I have a motion to return to public session? Ms. Guerrero, Mr. Smorl, all in favor?
Aye.
Anybody opposed? Okay, thank you. Can we stand for the pledge to the flag? I pledge allegiance
To the flag of the United States of America, to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Roll call, please.
Ms. Akalonis,
Here.
Mr. Bensavingo,
Here.
Mr. Bowe, Mr. Breedy,
Here.
Ms. Guerrero. Here. Ms. Harrison,
Here.
Ms. Hickman,
Here.
Mr. Lewis,
Here.
Mr. Smorl,
Here.
and Mr. Dunkersloot. Having 8 board members, we have a quorum.
Can I have a motion and a second for the approval of the minutes from August 5th, please? Ms. Hickman? Mrs. Hickman? Ms. Guerrero? Roll call, please.
Ms. Akalonis,
Yes.
Mr. Bensavingo,
Abstain.
Mr. Breedy,
Abstain.
Ms. Guerrero. Yes. Ms. Harrison,
Abstain.
Ms. Hickman,
Yes.
Mr. Lewis,
Yes.
and Mr. Smorl.
Yes.
Motion carried.
Okay, thank you. At this time, I would like to open the floor to the public for agenda items only. Okay, seeing none. May I have a motion and a second for items under Personnel 1 through 30? Okay, Mrs. Harrison and Mr. Lewis. Any questions, comments? Seeing none, roll call.
Ms. Akalonis,
Yes.
Mr. Bensavingo,
Yes.
Mr. Breedy,
Yes.
Ms. Guerrero,
Abstain on 3, 4, 6, 8, 9, 10, 12 through 17, 23, 28, and also 19.
Ms. Harrison,
Yes.
Ms. Hickman,
Yes.
Mr. Lewis,
Yes.
and Mr. Smorl.
Abstain on number 12, yes to the rest.
Okay,
Motion carried.
thank you. All right, under Curriculum and Instruction, may I have a motion and a second for item 31? Mrs. Harrison and Mrs. Hickman. Roll call, please.
Ms. Akalonis,
Yes.
Mr. Bensavingo,
Yes.
Mr. Breedy,
Yes.
Ms. Guerrero, Ms. Harrison,
Yes.
Ms. Hickman,
Yes.
Mr. Lewis, and Mr. Smorl.
Yes.
Motion carried.
Okay, thank you. Now, under Policy, may I have a motion and a second for items 32 and 33? Ms. Guerrero, Mr. Benzivenga, are there any questions, comments? Seeing none, roll call, please.
Ms. Akalonis,
Yes.
Mr. Bensavingo,
Yes.
Mr. Breedy,
Yes.
Ms. Guerrero,
Yes.
Ms. Harrison,
Yes.
Ms. Hickman,
Yes.
Mr. Lewis,
Yes.
and Mr. Smorl.
Yes.
Motion carried.
Okay, good, thank you. Under Board of Governance, may I have a motion and a second for items 34 through 38, including the 2 sidebar issues of agreement? Mr. Breedy, Ms. Guerrero, any questions, comments? Seeing none, roll call.
Ms. Akalonis,
Yes.
Mr. Bensavingo,
Yes.
Mr. Breedy,
Yes.
Ms. Guerrero, Ms. Harrison,
Yes.
Ms. Hickman,
Yes.
Mr. Lewis,
Yes.
and Mr. Smorl.
Yes.
Motion carried.
Okay, great. Under Finance, may I have a motion and a second for items 39 through 53? Mr. Smorl, Mr. Breedy, any questions or comments? Seeing none. Roll call, please.
Ms. Akalonis?
Yes, except abstaining on number 47.
Mr. Bencivenga?
Yes.
Mr. Breedy?
Yes.
Ms. Guerrero?
Yes.
Ms. Harrison?
I'm sorry. Abstain on 39 and 41, and yes on the rest. Sorry about that.
Ms. Harrison?
Yes.
Ms. Hickman?
Yes.
Mr. Lewis?
Yes.
And Mr. Smurl?
Yes.
Motion carried.
Okay, thank you. Now, Mr. Grande, can we please have the report of the superintendent?
Good evening, and thank you, Ms. Aklanis. On this evening's agenda is a donation from the Valley Road PTA for various items, and we'd like to thank the Valley Road PTA, along with all of our school's PTAs, for the good work they do for our students and staff. Our teachers returned this past Thursday, and I had the pleasure of meeting with them at each school, along with their principals meeting with them. The day was followed by department and grade level meetings and time in the classrooms for the teachers. Last Friday was our second day of professional development with school-based sessions. Light of Tools of the Mind, behavioral training, and Reading Wonders training at 2 elementary schools, Edulastic at Carl H. Kumpf, and AP and extracurricular sessions at ALJ, followed by more time in the classrooms for the teachers. And today, we capped off our professional development with an AI, artificial intelligence session offered by Evan Abramson, the Director of Technology for Morris Union Joint Venture Commission. And Mrs. Roski, thank you for arranging that for us and getting us ahead of the curve with that. We had Linkit benchmark refresher training, along with differentiation training led by Dr. Blackburn, our district consultant. Towards the end of August was our new certificated staff orientation, along with our administrators' opening meeting to get us started for the start of the new school year. We're thrilled about our first day tomorrow being with students, and we're anticipating, knock on wood, smooth openings. Thank you to the BOE for your support, and best of luck to the teachers, staff, and administrators in the year ahead. Our back-to-school nights are always a great opportunity for us to welcome our students' parents into our schools. The series will begin with Clark Preschool Annex on Monday, September the 9th, followed by Carl H. Kumpf on Thursday, September the 12th. The next week, Valley Road School, Monday, September 16th, Frank K. Henley, Wednesday, September 18th, finishing with ALJ on Thursday, September 19th, all at 7 p.m. And we're looking forward to greeting our students' parents at those evening events. Our access for ELLs, the state testing that our English language learners take each spring, those results are now posted on the district website under Curriculum, Technology, and Assessment. And the majority of our students scored at a level 3, which is considered to be developing out of a scale of 6. And again, they scored 3 or above, the majority of our students. Thank you and have a great evening.
Thank you, Mr. Grande. Are there any committee reports? Okay, is there any unfinished business? Is there any new business? Okay, can I have, I'm sorry, Mr. Lewis?
I just want to send my condolences and respect to Rick Delmonico on the passing of his dad, who was a 30-year administrator in the Rowe East schools, did a fantastic job, and basically retired as the assistant superintendent in the Rowe East schools. So I want to just pass that along. Good DNA in the educational side of things. Thank you.
Yes, and on behalf of the board, our condolences. Thank you. All right, now, hearing of the public for non-agenda items.
Bill Draghi, 47 Post Road, Clark, New Jersey. I'd like to say I have good news. Well, good news for people that are thinking about the LGBTQ stuff as I do, which is that it's very bad. The Supreme Court recently delayed President Biden's LGBTQ law which have gone into effect August 1st, which would make all the states of the United States just like Jersey, which is very bad. Having children being taught all this LGBTQ stuff and having the parents prevented from going against their children. If their children wants to become a girl and he's really a boy, and the parents would have no say in it. It's so terrible. So this went to the Supreme Court about 5 or 6 days ago, because some of the states, about 10 states, were against it, and it was appealed. And they brought it to the Supreme Court because it was holding up everything with Biden's law. And he said it's too pervasive. That's what the opposing forces were saying. And they wanted it to be they wanted Biden's law to go into effect on August 1st. The Supreme Court said, no, we'll wait until the appellate court comes through for all these 10 states. And then it'll probably go back again to the Supreme Court. And if the Supreme Court comes out in that ruling and brings the word constitutional into it, or unconstitutional rather, saying it's unconstitutional, then that would be great, because then our state will not be able to do it either. So hope and pray for that. And former President Trump came out recently and said if he gets into office, he's going to overturn all of this and prevent all the schools that are doing this from it happening by an executive order. And so I hope everybody votes for Trump, because then that'll be prevented in this state also. Thank you.
Is there anybody else that would like to come up and speak?
Good evening, Chris Marson from the Clark Public School District. I just wanted to take the opportunity to thank you all for the opportunity to serve as an administrator in the Clark Public School District. I really want to thank the administrative team for their support over the past few weeks as well, transitioning from classroom teacher to this new supervisor role. They've been a great help. It's been bittersweet. I've been a classroom teacher at ALJ for 20 years and a coach as well, so I'll miss the daily interactions with my students and athletes, but I'm not going anywhere. I'm still at the high school. I want to wish all of our students and teachers the best of luck as they start the first day of school tomorrow as well. So thank you.
Thank you and good luck. Would anybody else like to come up to the podium and speak? Okay, if not, may I have a motion for adjournment? Ms. Guerrera, Mr. Smorrell? All in favor?
Aye.
Anybody opposed? Thank you very much for coming, and see you next month. It's good.